The training yard smelled like burnt metal and shame. Lucas wiped blood from his lip while the other students laughed. He had lasted exactly 12 seconds against Gorvok this time. That was 3 seconds longer than yesterday, so he supposed that counted as progress. Pathetic soft skin, Gorvok rumbled, his thick bracken armor plates clicking as he walked away. Your species should have stayed in your dirt caves. Lucas said nothing. Speaking only made it worse. He gathered his scattered training gear and limped toward the equipment room. Around him, students from 100 different worlds practiced combat techniques that would have looked like magic to people back on Earth. The Quelven moved with 6 arms in perfect coordination. The Strider species blurred through obstacle courses faster than human eyes could track. Even the plant-based Verdani had natural toxins that could drop a charging beast in seconds. Humans had nothing. No armor plates, no extra limbs, no venom, no speed. Just soft skin and fragile bones and the galaxy's universal pity. The Galactic Academy on Station Helios. 7 was supposed to be humanity's chance to prove itself among the stars. 20 human students had been selected from Earth's billions. Lucas had scored highest on the empathy and problem-solving tests. That meant nothing here where strength was the only language anyone respected that he changed out of his torn training suit and checked the assignment board. Field navigation exercise in Biodome, Sector 7. Great. More chances to fail in front of everyone. The Biodome sprawled across 3 full decks of the station, a wild tangle of alien plants and manufactured terrain meant to simulate hostile environments. Lucas entered with his class group, watching as Gorvok and his friends immediately sprinted ahead. They would finish first, obviously. They always did. Lucas took a different path, one that wound through the darker sections where the artificial sunlight barely penetrated. The route would take longer, but at least he wouldn't have to watch everyone else succeed while he struggled. The sound hit him first. A low, pained hiss that made his spine freeze. Lucas stopped walking and listened. There it was again, coming from somewhere off the marked trail in a section labeled with warning signs. Restricted zone. Dangerous fauna. Do not approach. Every logical part of his brain screamed at him to keep walking. Report it to instructors. Let someone qualified handle it. But that sound, that awful mix of pain and fury, pulled at something deep in his chest. He pushed through the dense undergrowth and found himself in a small clearing. Then he saw it, and his breath caught in his throat. The creature was massive, easily 5 meters long, with a body like Earth's ancient alligators but built on a scale that seemed impossible. Armored scales covered its hide, each one crystalline and sharp, glowing with faint bioluminescent patterns that pulsed angry red. Its jaws could have swallowed him whole. But right now, those jaws were snapped shut in pain because its rear leg was caught in a wicked metal trap, barbed hooks dug deep into flesh between the armored plates that a cragstalker. Lucas recognized it from xenobiology lectures. Apex predator from Death Worlds. Kill count in the thousands. Do not approach under any circumstances. The creature's eyes locked onto Lucas and it growled, a sound that vibrated through the ground. Lucas should have run. Instead, he slowly lowered himself to a crouch and opened his emergency medical kit. Easy, he said softly, the way his grandfather had taught him to speak to frightened animals back on the farm. I know it hurts. Let me help. The cragstalker thrashed, and Lucas jerked back. Those jaws snapped at empty air. But then the creature stopped and tilted its head, studying him with intelligence that was startling. The bioluminescent patterns shifted from red to something closer to orange. Still angry, but curious, Lucas talked to it in a low, steady voice while he examined the trap. A legal poacher design, the kind that caused maximum damage. His hands shook as he prepared a pain relief injector from his kit. One wrong move, and he was dead. Everyone knew that. The creature could kill him faster than he could scream. He moved closer. The cragstalker watched him, but didn't strike. Lucas pressed the injector against a softer section of hide near the wound and administered the dose. The creature flinched, but held still. Good, Lucas breathed. That's good. Now the hard part. The trap's release mechanism was designed to be operated from a distance. Up close, Lucas had to manually pry back each barbed hook while the creature's massive body tensed with pain. He worked as gently as possible, his own hands getting cut on the sharp edges. Blood, his and the creature's, mixed in the dirt. Finally, the last hook came free. Lucas stumbled backward as the Cragstalker pulled its leg from the trap. For a moment, they stared at each other. Then Lucas pulled out his ration pack and tore it open. He tossed half toward the creature. The Cragstalker sniffed it, then ate it in one gulp. Its bioluminescent markings shifted to deep blue. The creature took one step toward Lucas, and he fought every instinct to run. It leaned down, and its massive head came level with his face. Lucas could smell its breath, feel the heat radiating from its body. Then it turned and disappeared into the undergrowth without a sound. Lucas stood alone in the clearing, shaking, his medical kit scattered around him and his hands bleeding. He had just done something incredibly stupid, something that would have gotten him killed 99 times out of 100. But as he gathered his supplies and headed back to the trail, he couldn't stop thinking about those blue markings and the intelligence in those ancient eyes. 3 days passed before Lucas could sneak back to the biodome. His hands still bore scabs from the trap's edges, hidden under gloves so no one would ask questions. Questions led to attention, and attention at the academy meant trouble for someone like him. Gorvok had made sure of that yesterday by accidentally slamming into Lucas during corridor transition, sending his data pad skittering across the floor and cracking the screen. The instructors had simply walked past while Gorvok's friends laughed. Standard procedure. Weakness earned no protection here. Lucas entered the biodome during the evening cycle when most students were at meal service. He carried a larger medical kit this time and extra rations he had saved from his own portions. His stomach growled in protest, but he ignored it. The restricted zone seemed darker than before, the artificial night cycle making the glowing plants cast strange shadows. He half expected the clearing to be empty. Why would the creature come back? It was healed enough to leave, and Lucas was nothing to it. Just another prey animal that happened to have thumbs and medical supplies. But when he pushed through the undergrowth, the Cragstalker was there waiting. Its bioluminescent markings pulsed soft blue in the darkness. The creature lay coiled near where the trap had been, and as Lucas approached, it lifted its massive head. Those ancient eyes tracked his every movement. "Hey there," Lucas said quietly, setting down his supplies. "Want to check on that leg?" The creature watched him for a long moment, then slowly, deliberately, extended the injured limb toward him. Lucas felt his heart hammer in his chest. That was trust. Actual trust from a creature that could snap him in half without effort. He examined the wound carefully. The tissue was healing well, no signs of infection. He applied fresh medical gel anyway and wrapped the area with a light bandage that would dissolve in a few days. The Cragstalker remained perfectly still throughout the process. "You're a smart one, aren't you?" Lucas murmured, finishing the bandaging. "Smarter than most people think." He pulled out the rations and laid them nearby. The creature ate them quickly, then surprised him by pushing its huge snout against his shoulder. Not aggressive, just contact. Lucas reached up slowly and touched the armored scales on its head. They were warm and surprisingly smooth despite their crystalline appearance. The markings on the creature's snout caught his attention. Unlike the glowing patterns that change color, these were permanent scars forming intricate designs. They looked almost intentional, like someone had carved them there long ago. Over the next week, Lucas fell into a dangerous routine. He would attend his classes, endure the daily humiliations, then sneak to the biodome whenever possible. The Cragstalker, which he had started calling Rex in his own mind, was always there. Sometimes Lucas just sat and talked while the creature listened. Other times he brought puzzles and problems, testing his theory about the creature's intelligence. Rex could solve spatial problems faster than some of the academy students. He understood verbal commands after hearing them only once. He recognized patterns and could even distinguish between different containers based on what Lucas had hidden inside them. This was not just an animal. This was a sapient being in a different form. "You know what's funny?" Lucas said one evening, sitting with his back against Rex's warm side. "Everyone here thinks humans are weak because we don't have claws or armor. But back on Earth, we survived because we could make friends with predators. We turned wolves into dogs. We rode horses. We worked with falcons. Maybe that's our real strength, and nobody in the galaxy has figured it out yet. Rex's rumble sounded almost like agreement. The bullying at the academy grew worse. Gorvok had started targeting Lucas during combat training, claiming it was helping him build resilience. The instructors allowed it. Last session had left Lucas with bruised ribs and a split eyebrow that medical had sealed without comment. Lucas told Rex about it during one visit. The creature's markings flashed red, and it growled low in its throat. "It's okay," Lucas said, touching the armored head. "I'm okay. That's just how it is here." But Rex didn't seem to think it was okay. The creature followed Lucas through the biodome after that, staying in the shadows, but always within range. Lucas realized Rex had started memorizing his schedule that on the 10th day, Lucas arrived to find Rex had caught something. A small maintenance drone lay crushed at the creature's feet. Rex pushed it toward Lucas like a cat bringing a gift to its human. The bioluminescent markings pulsed bright blue, almost excited. Lucas laughed despite himself. "You brought me a present? That's going to cause problems when they inventory these things, but thank you." He spent extra time with Rex that evening, teaching the creature more words and commands. "Stay, Kulme, quiet, friend." Rex learned them all, responding with different colored pulses of light to show understanding. As Lucas prepared to leave, Rex did something new. The creature bent low and made a soft, chirping sound, nothing like the terrible roars Lucas knew it was capable of. Then Rex very gently took the hem of Lucas's jacket in its teeth and tugged. "You want me to stay longer?" Lucas asked. The markings pulsed blue twice. Yes, they had developed a simple communication system without Lucas even realizing it. He stayed another hour, eventually falling asleep against Rex's side. The creature curled around him protectively, keeping him warm through the cold biodome night cycle. Lucas woke to alarm sirens screaming through the station and the sound of weapons fire in the distance. Rex was already on his feet, body tense, markings blazing red. Something was very wrong. Through the biodome's transparent ceiling panels, Lucas saw ships he didn't recognize swarming around the station's exterior. Pirates. Helios 7 was under attack. The emergency lights painted everything red and hostile. Lucas ran through the biodome toward the main exit, Rex keeping pace beside him with terrifying ease. Through his communicator, Lucas heard fragments of panicked instructions. Students to evacuation pods. Security engaging hostiles. Multiple breaches that he reached the main corridor to find it blocked by collapsed ceiling panels. An explosion had torn through this section. Behind him, he heard voices. Other students also cut off. "This way," someone shouted. Lucas recognized the voice. Gorvok, that he turned back into the biodome and found 4 other students stumbling through the artificial jungle. Gorvok and his 2 Bracken friends, plus a Verdani girl named Petra, who Lucas had sometimes studied with. All of them looked terrified. None of them had noticed Rex yet, hidden in the darker foliage. "The main exit is collapsed," Lucas said. "We need to find another way." Gorvok's eyes fixed on Lucas with pure hatred. "This is your fault, Softskin. Probably sent a signal to your primitive friends." "That doesn't even make sense," Petra said, her leafy skin pale with fear. "Lucas is human, not a pirate." Before anyone could argue further, the biodome side entrance exploded inward. 5 figures in mismatched armor poured through, weapons raised. Pirates. Their leader, a Quelven with a scarred face and 2 mini cybernetic arms, swept a scanner across the space. "Heat signatures detected," the Quelven announced. "Students. Good. High ransom value." The pirates spread out, activating tracking drones that zipped through the air. Lucas grabbed Petra and pulled her into the undergrowth. The others scattered in different directions. For several minutes, Lucas heard sounds of pursuit, then a stun weapon firing. Someone cried out. Gorvok's voice. Lucas and Petra crouched behind a massive tree analog, trying to control their breathing. The tracking drones hummed overhead, their sensors probing the foliage. One passed within meters of their position. "They're going to find us," Petra whispered that Lucas's mind raced. They were close to Rex's usual territory now. Very close. He made a decision that was either brilliant or suicidal. Follow me, he breathed. Stay quiet. They moved deeper into the restricted zone. Behind them, Lucas heard the pirates hurting the captured students. Gorvok was arguing even while stunned, his words slurred. The other two Bracken students had been caught as well. The clearing appeared ahead. Rex was there, massive body coiled, eyes reflecting the red emergency lights. The creature's markings blazed orange, the color Lucas had learned meant Rex was deciding whether something was a threat. Petra saw Rex and froze, her skin flushing white with terror. That's a cragstalker. We need to run. No, Lucas said firmly. We need to trust. The pirates burst into the clearing seconds later, weapons raised. They saw their captured students first, then Petra, then Lucas. The Quelven leader's multiple arms moved independently, two keeping weapons trained while another operated a scanning device. Two more, the leader said with satisfaction. Excellent. You'll all fetch premium prices. The human especially, another pirate added. Rare species. Some collectors pay extra. They advanced into the clearing. Lucas stepped forward, placing himself between the pirates and Petra. It was a meaningless gesture. He had no weapons, no armor, no way to stop them. But it was the only thing he could do. Get out of the way, soft skin, the Quelven ordered. Lucas didn't move. Behind him, Petra whimpered. To his left, Gorvok and the others were being bound with energy restraints. The pirates hadn't noticed Rex yet. The creature remained perfectly still in the shadows, watching. The Quelven leader took another step forward and raised a weapon toward Lucas's head. Last chance. Lucas did something that would haunt his dreams or make him a legend. He called out using the words he had taught Rex over countless hours in this very clearing. Rex, friend, protect. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. The pirates looked confused. Gorvok stared at Lucas like he had lost his mind. Then the shadows moved. Rex emerged into the clearing's light, and every pirate froze. The creature was fully visible now, all 5 meters of armored death, bioluminescent markings blazing crimson with pure aggression. The Cragstalker's roar shook the air itself, a sound that triggered every prey instinct evolution had ever coded into living beings. Back away slowly, the Quelven whispered to his crew. Rex took one thundering step forward, then another. The pirates opened fire, and Lucas watched in awe as the plasma bolts simply deflected off Rex's crystalline scales. The creature moved with impossible speed for something so large, closing the distance before the pirates could adjust their aim. The first pirate went down with Rex's jaws closed around his weapon arm. Not biting through, just holding, but the message was clear. Rex could have killed him. Chose not to. The pirate screamed anyway. The others scattered. Rex released the first pirate and pursued the Quelven leader, who was retreating while firing wildly. One bolt hit Rex in the shoulder. The creature didn't even slow down. It slammed into the Quelven with the force of a shuttle crash, pinning all 6 arms to the ground. Lucas ran forward. Easy, Rex. Stop. The creature's head whipped toward him, markings still blazing red. For a terrifying moment, Lucas thought he had made a mistake, that the violence had triggered something primal that couldn't be controlled. Then Rex's markings shifted to blue. The creature stepped off the Quelven, but remained standing over him, a living prison. The remaining pirates had fled back through the entrance. Station security would catch them in the corridors. The captured students lay bound but unharmed, and Lucas stood in the center of it all with a legendary apex predator waiting for his next command. Station security poured into the biodome within minutes, weapons raised and shields active. They stopped dead when they saw the scene. A Cragstalker standing calmly in the center of a clearing. Several injured pirates on the ground. A human student standing beside the creature like it was the most natural thing in the galaxy. Security Chief Rovan pushed to the front, his Strider species features tense with confusion. He was a veteran of dozens of conflicts, decorated and respected. Lucas had seen him training security forces with brutal efficiency. Nothing should have surprised this being. Yet Rovan stared at Rex with something that looked like disbelief. Stand away from the creature, Rovan ordered, his weapon trained carefully. Not at Rex, Lucas noticed. At the space between them. He's not a threat, Lucas said. He protected us. That's impossible. Crag stalkers don't protect. They hunt. This one does both. Gorvok, still bound in energy restraints nearby, found his voice. The human did something. Called to it. The beast obeyed him. More security forces arrived, establishing a perimeter. Someone was treating the captured pirates, while medical teams checked the students. Petra was crying with relief, but she kept glancing at Rex with wonder rather than fear now. Rovan moved closer, his eyes fixed on Rex's snout. Specifically, on the scar patterns Lucas had noticed weeks ago. The security chief's expression shifted from confusion to something approaching awe. Those markings, Rovan said quietly. Let me see them clearly. Lucas nodded to Rex. The creature lowered its massive head, allowing Rovan to examine the permanent scars. The security chief traced them with his scanner, not touching, just recording. When he looked up, his face had gone pale. Do you know what you've done, human? I helped an injured animal. No, you've achieved something that hasn't happened in over 2 centuries. These are Elder Bond marks. This creature has chosen you as a companion. The words hung in the air. Other security officers exchanged glances. One of them, a Bracken female covered in honor scars, actually bowed slightly toward Lucas. Gorvok made a choking sound. I don't understand, Lucas admitted. Rovan gestured for everyone to lower their weapons. Cragstalkers are not simple predators. They're ancient intelligences from death worlds, beings who remember when the galaxy was younger. They choose companions perhaps once in a dozen generations. The bonded individual becomes what old cultures call a beastwalker. Such individuals are protected under ancient laws that supersede modern regulations. Protected how? To harm a beastwalker is to challenge their bonded companion. No one challenges a cragstalker and lives. You've become effectively untouchable by common aggression. Lucas looked at Rex, who had moved to sit beside him. The creature's markings pulsed calm blue, completely at ease despite being surrounded by armed forces. Had Rex known what this bond meant? Had the creature chosen him deliberately? The biodome entrance opened again. This time, Academy directors arrived along with station command. Director Walsh, a stern human woman who had never shown Lucas any particular favor, looked at the scene with wide eyes. Explain this, she demanded. Rovan provided a concise report while the other officials examined Rex and reviewed security footage of the fight. The pirates were being hauled away, the Quelvan leader ranting about demon beasts and death world horrors. No one paid him any attention. Director Walsh approached Lucas carefully. How long has this been going on? A few weeks, Lucas admitted. I found Rex injured in a trap. I helped him. We became friends. Friends, Walsh repeated, as if testing the word. With a cragstalker. Why not? He's intelligent. Probably smarter than most species give him credit for. One of the alien directors, a Verdani elder, spoke up. The human speaks truth. Look at the creature's behavior. It responds to verbal commands, distinguishes between threats and non-threats, and showed remarkable restraint during combat. That level of control indicates sapience. The question is what we do now, Walsh said. This changes everything. Lucas Grant, you've put this academy in an unprecedented situation. I just helped someone who needed help, and in doing so, bonded with a legendary predator. Do you understand the political implications? The cultural weight? There are species who will see this as a sign, others as a threat. The Galactic Council will demand explanations. Rex growled softly. Not aggressive, just making his presence known. His markings flickered between blue and orange, as if to say he didn't care what anyone demanded. Lucas was under his protection now. Gorvok finally spoke up, his voice strained. I wronged him. For weeks, I wronged him. And he was bonded to that the entire time. Not the entire time, Rovan corrected. The bond was forming. Such things take time and trust. But yes, eventually Lucas achieved what your entire warrior culture considers the highest honor. The Bracken student looked at his bound hands, then at Lucas, and something in his expression crumbled. Shame, raw and honest. The human showed more courage than I gave him credit for. Lucas wanted to respond, but medical teams were ushering the students away for examination. Someone tried to guide Lucas to a separate transport. Rex moved immediately, placing himself between Lucas and the medical staff. "It appears the Cragstalker will accompany you," Walsh observed dryly. "We'll need to make arrangements. Housing, feeding, legal documentation. This is going to be complicated." "I don't want complicated," Lucas said. "I just want Rex to be safe and for people to stop treating either of us like we're problems to be solved." Walsh studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "I'll see what I can do." "But Lucas, your life just changed in ways you can't imagine yet. Beastwalkers don't fade into the background. People will know your name across the galaxy." Lucas looked at Rex, at his friend who had chosen him for reasons he still didn't fully understand. The creature's markings pulsed steady blue. "Calm. Content. Protected. I don't care about fame," Lucas said. "I care about doing what's right." The simplicity of that statement seemed to catch everyone off guard. In a galaxy built on politics and power plays, someone acting purely from principle was apparently revolutionary. News traveled faster than light when it wanted to. Within 3 days, every species with access to galactic networks knew about the human student and the Cragstalker. Lucas Grant became a name spoken in 100 languages, in contexts ranging from reverence to concern to simple disbelief. The Academy had no choice but to adapt. Rex was permitted to accompany Lucas to classes, a privilege that required restructuring entire sections of the station. Doorways were widened. A section of the biodome was officially designated as Rex's territory. Feeding arrangements were made, though Rex proved capable of hunting the biodome's pest population efficiently enough that Lucas's first day back in classes felt surreal. He walked through corridors that had once echoed with mockery and found only silence. Students pressed themselves against walls to let him and Rex pass. Not from respect, Lucas realized. From fear. That bothered him more than the bullying had. Combat training was worse. Instructor Dravik, a massive Bracken warrior who had never once intervened when Lucas was being targeted, suddenly treated him with careful formality. When Gorvok entered the training hall and saw Lucas with Rex lying calmly nearby, the larger student actually flinched. "Pair exercises," Dravik announced. "Grant, you're with Gorvok." The room went silent. Gorvok approached slowly, his armored plates clicking with tension. He stopped several meters away, unable to meet Lucas's eyes. Rex watched with orange markings, neutral but attentive. "I can't," Gorvok said quietly. "I forfeit the match." "What?" Dravik demanded. "Because I've wronged him. To raise a hand to a Beastwalker is to challenge his companion. I'm not fool enough to challenge a Cragstalker." Lucas felt something twist in his chest. This wasn't what he wanted. He turned to Rex and said clearly, "Friend. Gorvok is friend now. Understand." Rex's markings shifted to blue. The creature settled its head on its forelimbs, a posture of rest. The message was clear. No threat detected. "The match is sanctioned training," Lucas said to Gorvok. "Rex knows the difference. We can spar." "You're certain?" "Yes. Now stop being afraid of me. That's worse than when you were hitting me." Something in Gorvok's expression shifted. Surprise, then something that might have been gratitude. They sparred, and for the first time, Lucas performed at his actual capability. Without the psychological weight of constant humiliation, he could think clearly, move strategically. He still lost. Gorvok's natural advantages were real, but he made the Bracken work for the victory. Afterward, Gorvok extended a hand. "You fight better without fear. I always have. You just never let me show it." The truth of that statement hung between them. Other students watched, reassessing. If Gorvok, the Academy's most aggressive bully, could acknowledge fault, perhaps they had been wrong about the humans too. Lucas started spending lunch periods in a common area rather than hiding in empty rooms. Petra joined him first, then a few curious students from other species. They asked questions about Rex, about Earth, about how Lucas had achieved the bond. "I just helped him," Lucas explained for the dozenth time. "That's what humans do. We see something in pain, and we try to fix it, even if it's dangerous," asked a Strider student named Rylan. "Especially if it's dangerous. Things that can hurt you usually need the most help." That concept seemed to break something in their understanding. Most galactic cultures viewed assistance through the lens of reciprocal benefit. You help those who could help you back. Helping a deadly predator made no tactical sense. What did you gain from it? Rylan pressed. A friend, Lucas said simply. That's enough. The Galactic Council's hearing was conducted via holographic communication. Lucas stood in the station's main conference hall while council representatives from 24 species questioned him. Rex lay beside him, markings calm blue throughout. The questions were predictable. How did you approach the creature? What made you think you could establish communication? Do you understand the cultural significance of what you've achieved? Lucas answered honestly. He didn't dress it up or make himself sound heroic. He had seen an injured being and helped it. The bond formed because Rex chose him, not because Lucas was special. But you must possess some unique quality, insisted a council member from a species Lucas didn't recognize. Beast walkers are legendary for a reason. Maybe humans are just more willing to take risks for others without calculating the benefit first, Lucas suggested. We call it compassion. It's not unique to us, but we do seem to apply it more broadly than most species. Even to creatures that could kill you, especially to those. The most dangerous things are usually the most afraid. The hearing concluded without any concrete decisions, but Lucas could feel attitudes shifting. Some council members looked thoughtful, others concerned. A few seemed almost hopeful, as if humanity had revealed a capability the galaxy needed. Classes continued. Lucas's grades improved dramatically now that he could focus on learning rather than survival. He started an informal study group that attracted students from multiple species. They met in the biodome near Rex's territory, and the creature's presence somehow made everyone more honest, more willing to admit confusion or ask for help. Gorvok attended regularly. The transformation in the Bracken was remarkable. Without the need to project dominance constantly, he revealed a sharp mind and genuine curiosity about other species. He and Lucas developed something approaching friendship. I don't understand you, Gorvok admitted one evening after the others had left. You had every right to use Rex against me, to make me suffer for how I treated you. But you didn't. Revenge would just continue the cycle, Lucas said. I'd rather break it. Is that a human philosophy? It's a decent being philosophy. Humans didn't invent it, we just try to practice it. Rex rumbled softly, his way of showing contentment. The creature had gained weight, his wounds fully healed. He spent his days either with Lucas or exploring the biodome, and he had become something of a station mascot. People who had once feared him now recognized him in corridors and gave respectful nods. Director Walsh pulled Lucas aside one day with unexpected news. Several human students who had previously struggled at the academy were showing improvement. The change in attitude toward Lucas had created a ripple effect, reducing the casual discrimination other humans faced. You're changing this place, Walsh said, one friendship at a time. Lucas looked at Rex, who was currently letting a group of younger students examine his crystalline scales under supervision. The creature's patience with younglings was remarkable. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm just being myself. Sometimes that's exactly what's needed. The ship that docked at Helios, 6 weeks after the pirate incident, carried passengers that made even station security nervous. 3 adult cragstalkers, each massive and battle-scarred, accompanied by 3 beings from different species who walked with the unmistakable confidence of beastwalkers. Lucas was summoned to the main docking bay. He arrived with Rex, whose markings had shifted to bright blue the moment the ship appeared. The creature seemed excited, almost eager, in a way Lucas had never seen before. The delegation disembarked. The 3 cragstalkers moved with ancient grace, their bioluminescent markings displaying complex patterns Lucas couldn't interpret. The eldest, a massive creature with silver-tinged scales, approached Rex directly. The 2 predators touched snouts, and Lucas felt Rex's rumble of recognition through their bond. One of the beastwalkers, a weathered Bracken female, covered in ritual scars, stepped forward. You're Lucas Grant. Yes, I'm Keeper Thola. I bonded with my companion 70 years ago during the border conflicts. These are my fellow walkers. We've come because of Rex. Lucas felt his throat tighten. Is something wrong? Wrong? No, human. Something is profoundly right. Thola gestured to the eldest Cragstalker. This is Elder Sorrow who remembers. Rex's great-grandmother. She has traveled far to meet the one her descendant chose. The massive elder Cragstalker studied Lucas with eyes that held centuries of wisdom. Then she did something that made everyone in the docking bay freeze. She bowed her head low, a gesture of respect from a creature that bowed to nothing. The elders wish to honor you, Thola translated, though Lucas suspected the gesture spoke for itself. Rex disappeared during his coming-of-age journey. We feared him dead or captured. Instead, he found something more valuable. He found a companion worthy of the ancient bonds. I just helped him. You helped him without knowing what he was, without expecting reward or recognition. That is precisely why you are worthy. Thola smiled, a fierce expression on her scarred face. The elders have brought gifts. The delegation produced a container. Inside lay armor, but unlike anything Lucas had seen. The pieces were formed from shed crystalline scales, each one glowing with soft bioluminescence. The material looked organic and technological simultaneously. This is living armor, Thola explained, made from scales shed by Rex's ancestors over generations. It will bond to your biology, protect without restricting, and grow as you grow. Few non-walkers have ever seen such armor, let alone worn it. Lucas touched the material. It was warm and seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. This is too much. It is exactly enough. You saved one of our own. You showed him compassion when the galaxy had shown him only cruelty. This armor marks you as family to the Death Worlds. The other Beastwalkers came forward, each offering advice and stories from their own bonding experiences. Lucas learned that Beastwalkers served as bridges between wild Death Worlds and galactic civilization. They were mediators, protectors, and living proof that understanding could exist between the most unlikely beings. We would like you to visit our home world during your next break period, Thola said. Rex should see where he came from, and you should understand the full depth of what you've become. Lucas agreed, though the thought of a planet full of creatures like Rex was both terrifying and exciting. The delegation stayed for 3 days, teaching Lucas about Walker traditions and responsibilities. They also met with Academy officials, establishing formal protocols for Rex's continued presence on their last evening. Elder server members approached Lucas alone. The ancient creature settled beside him, her presence somehow calming despite her size. She made a series of sounds, complex vocalizations that Rex translated through movements and color changes Lucas had learned to read. The message was simple but profound. Thank you for seeing him as a person, not a monster. After the delegation left, life at the Academy continued to evolve. Director Walsh officially created a new course on interspecies empathy and nonviolent conflict resolution. Lucas was asked to serve as a student advisor, sharing human perspectives on building trust across species barriers. The class attracted students from every corner of the Academy. Some came out of curiosity, others because they had witnessed what Lucas and Rex represented. Gorvok attended every session, taking detailed notes and asking thoughtful questions. I've been thinking, Gorvok said one day after class. My culture values strength above all else. But what you showed me is that true strength includes knowing when not to use force. That's harder than just hitting things. It's easier to break things than build them, Lucas agreed. But building lasts longer. More human students started arriving at the Academy as word spread about the changing atmosphere. They no longer faced the automatic dismissal Lucas had endured. Some species still held prejudices, but those attitudes met increasing pushback from students who had learned different lessons. Lucas watched this transformation with quiet satisfaction. He had never wanted fame or recognition. He just wanted to be treated fairly and to treat others the same way. That simple principle was somehow revolutionary in a galaxy that had forgotten how powerful compassion could be. Rex remained his constant companion, growing larger and more confident as months passed. The creature had become a beloved fixture at the academy, known for his intelligence and surprising gentleness with smaller beings. Younger students would often study near him, finding his presence comforting. One evening, Lucas sat in the biodome with Rex, watching the artificial stars through the transparent ceiling. The living armor he now wore had bonded completely to his biology, feeling like a second skin. He could feel Rex's contentment through their bond, a warm certainty that everything was as it should be. "You know what's funny?" Lucas said quietly. "Everyone thinks I changed you. But really, you changed me. You showed me that being kind wasn't weakness, that choosing compassion could be the bravest thing someone does." Rex's markings pulsed blue and gold, colors Lucas had learned meant happiness and agreement. The creature nudged him gently with his massive head. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new students, new chances to build bridges. But tonight, Lucas was content to sit with his friend and remember that one small choice, one moment of compassion, had rippled outward farther than he ever imagined possible. He had helped someone in pain without expecting anything in return, and somehow that had changed everything.